everyone, and welcome back to Sharon Cullen Art. It's been a bit since I've posted a video, and I apologize for that. I've been kind of ill lately. My asthma's flared up. Fall is my worst time of year. My favorite season, but my worst time for breathing. So I've been having a lot of trouble with that, and the shakiness from all the breathing treatments doesn't help me with my painting or anything. But no excuses there. I'm just making a point that's why I didn't get a lot done. But then I've been having shoulder issues too, with my shoulder popping out of place. So it's subluxating quite a bit. So today is day 2 of Inktober. Now I'm going to explain a little bit about Inktober, and you can fast forward. I will post the minutes down below here to fast forward to if you already understand Inktober and you don't want to hear about it. But I did receive some messages from several of you saying that you would like to understand Inktober better. Inktober was created by a guy named Jake Parker, who is an illustrator, and he wanted to improve his drawing skills. So he set himself out for a month-long challenge, and it happened to be in October, I guess, and so he calls this Inktober. When he did this month-long challenge, apparently his blog followers decided that they would like to get in on it too. So he began making this prompt list that you can use to give you ideas for illustrations or sketches or whatever. And the only rules were that it had to be finished in ink. You can start it in pencil if you'd like, but it needs to be finished in ink. Now, those of us who watercolor like to add watercolor, and that is perfectly fine. He's fine with that, but he likes the look of a one-color sketch, and so he kind of recommended that in one of his emails, I understand, but it's not a big deal. He even says right in his rules that you can use whatever color you want. It doesn't matter, but just make sure that it's finished in ink. And there are lots of people out there now that put out their own prompt lists because they don't really care for his prompt list, and that is fine. You can use any prompt list you want, or you can use none at all if it's unnecessary. Now, for me today, I started this video, and I wanted to do an open head with mindless, for the mindless thing. And when I did that, it did not come out well at all. This was it. So I decided to skip that, and I did it again. And what I did was mushrooms. These are not magic mushrooms. These are just some mushrooms that I had a photo of out in my yard because they are growing like crazy at this time of year, which is part of the reason my allergies flare up. But I also saw somebody do something with oak leaves once, so I threw those in there as well. And so this is my mindless sketch, and I'm going to show you how I did it right now. I like to start my sketches out in pencil, and then I quickly switch over to ink, and I will add things in ink once I have some of my stuff down on paper. It's a crutch. And it's something I should probably try to get away from, but it doesn't bother me so much, so I just do that. I go over it real quick, then erase the pencil lines, and I move on from there. And you can see I'm adding more grass and plants and stuff like that in there. So now I'm just using my Quaco Sport, I think this is the aluminum or silver, one of the two pens. It's the shiny one, whichever is shiny. You can find it on Amazon or in any pen store like Jet Pens or one of those kind of deals. And I decided to go ahead with a little bit of watercolor. Now, I'm just using my demi palette from Maria at thearttoolkit.com, and this palette is a great little palette. I'm not usually a fan of half pans, but for a water brush, I have no problem using them. And I'm just throwing some color in real quick. And my book I'm using is a mixed media, heavyweight mixed media journal by Strathmore. It is, I forget what the paper weight is. Hang on. Okay, the paper weight is 184 pound. and 300 GSM. Now you may say, well, 300 GSM should be 140 pound, but really a lot of that depends on the size of the sheet of paper before they make the books. And if their sheets are smaller on this mixed media, then the weight would be heavier. But it is a heavier weight paper than actual 140 pound cold press paper is. It's nice and heavyweight. I had this book in a pad that somebody on my gouache sketchers group had turned me on to in a tan form. And then I saw Nora Cag over on Instagram who was using the book, and I thought, oh my gosh, they do make the books. So I got a gray one and a tan one, and I'm using the gray one for Inktober, which is why you'll see me using white ink along with black ink, which is what I used for this sketch. And then, of course, the little bit of watercolor. And that's really all I did. For me, this type of sketch is so much easier. My brain wraps around these types of sketches so much better than it does a portrait. I'm not a portrait person. I don't know why I even bothered trying to take it on. It was an embarrassment, to say the least. But the palette that I used, I'm not sure if I stated that earlier, is the Demi palette by Maria over at arttoolkit.com. You can buy it there. It's a cute little palette. It's about the half of the size of a business card palette, and it's very lightweight aluminum. And then that's pretty much it for my sketch, you guys. So remember, be courageous, paint with wild abandon, and most of all, be kind to each other. Take care.